Hey, this is Brett the Hitman Hart, the best there is, best there was, and the best there ever will be. And you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
What's going on, everybody? It's the Rewind, the SummerSlam preview edition. We got everybody here, so it's myself and RN like normal, but we brought our Smacked Raw brother, Will, over here from Bot Spots and Chair Shots. And then one of the biggest friends of the show, Mr. BC from Wrestling with the Truth. How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
Awesome. Just swell. Swell.
Fantastic, you guys. Man, listen, there's a lot going on out in the wrestling world, and with all the wrestling news that's been occurring lately, some people have forgotten that we got SummerSlam this Saturday. I guess tomorrow if you're watching this on YouTube. But, of course, this upcoming Saturday. Yours truly and Will, we're going to be there live. And then checking it out. BC and RN, how you guys feeling? Hype for the show?
Go ahead, BC.
Yeah, I'm. You know what? I said this on our own episode this week. As shitty as the Raw and SmackDown product has been, their pay-per-views have been pretty damn good this year, and I'm pretty pumped for this one because now we've got the specter of the regime change on top of it too. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this one.
I'm excited for it, but I'm also not thinking it's gonna go. I don't think they're gonna make too many changes because of how quick Triple H has been put into place. I'm sure we'll feel some sort of like his hand, like they're gonna stick to what they already have because that's just par for the course for shit like this happen with regime changes. I'm looking forward to next month's pay-per-view. That's when I think we'll kind of see Triple H's hands-on touches to the program.
So you're excited for SummerSlam, but you don't anticipate any major like Triple H related changes that may have been so you still expect to feel the fingerprints of like Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on this
absolutely.
Saturday show.
Even though I know they said that he was helping out with Creative Friday on SmackDown, but I mean, like I said, I just don't see them. They've never been that way to just abruptly change course from what they have. Like they might tear up a script or something, but I just don't see it happen. I think they're gonna ride this one through.
Haven't we heard stories of like WrestleMania matches changing day of and stuff like that?
Yeah, but we've heard stories of it. Have we ever actually got anything confirmed?
Well, man, because it's not like we're there backstage. But anyways, I see where you're coming from. But you think the pay-per-view following SummerSlam that'll noticeably have or a more noticeable tone change from what we normally get. How about you? Will, man? How you feeling?
I'm super excited. I was saying before we started recording that tonight's going to be really hard for me to hide the Mark side of it because I'm just hyped from top to bottom no matter what. I'm going to be there live. Overall, though, like looking at it objectively, the card's just kind of,
Yeah, I would say you got some rematches in there. You got some matches that we're used to seeing like on Raw. But with it being one of the big pay-per-views, probably the backstage morale boost with the regime change, I think everybody at SummerSlam is going to come excited to perform, and I think that'll translate through the show as it goes on throughout the evening. I think it's going to be pretty dope. I really do. I think it's going to be a pretty good show. Before we get started, you guys, we like to shoot these shows live. Normally, you can catch the rewind right here on twitch.tv/SmackedRaw at 9 o'clock on Sunday evenings. Of course, we're shooting this one on Tuesday. So if anything, if any matches are added on SmackDown, I'm sorry, but I think pretty much it's a safe assumption that all the major storylines and beats are well in place. I think the match card as we have it, I don't think it's going to change major. Maybe they'll add like a pre-show match, do something with the 24/7 division. But I think the card that we have, which I'm looking at the one on GameSpot, I think that's pretty much the card to expect for this Saturday. Before we do get started, of course, Will What you got going on with Botch Spots? Excuse me.
In the last few days, we've kind of done a revamping of what we're doing on the writing side of things. For a long time, we were super interview centric. We're still releasing interviews every week now, but we've started refocusing on some of the written stuff. We have a couple cool blogs out, one of which was why I think Austin Theory needs to wait to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase. And then I released another one that was the original screw job, where it talks about how the Fabulous Moolah screwed Wendy Richter out of the WWF Women's title at Madison Square Garden. Check out my writing profiles. And other than that, we've got a huge episode tomorrow night with me and RN, with PJ Savage and Jay Bougie from TakeOver. We're going to be doing our Mount Rushmore of wrestling for people of color. So that's a super hyped episode. That'll be a lot of fun and a cool discussion.
Sweet deal, man. And
follow Alison. She says that I don't like to give her shout outs anymore. Follow Alison. She's the boss bitch. She pretty much does everything of importance for all of us.
This would all fell apart a long time ago without Alison.
Pretty much, yeah.
What's Alison's Twitter handle? Let's go ahead and give her a plug early. Is
Just a girl something?
It's
Just a girl 918?
918, is that it?
Yeah.
I feel like we should have this on hand at all times.
Well, I didn't know RN's numbers for a long time either. I was
apparently
like,
neither did I.
Something, but I couldn't remember what the last four were, so I was like, okay.
Yeah,
I eventually got it.
It's Just a Girl 918. Yeah, it is. Yeah, RN's Twitter handle. I had that wrong for what felt like half a year.
When no one noticed it. Till
Not a damn person noticed. You know what?
I didn't even fucking notice it.
Speaking of for like long-term stuff, RN, I recently clipped our most recent episode of the Rewind, and I went to share a story about my wife on Facebook. It just so happens it was a 2-year anniversary of a show me and RN did, where once again my wife was a subject of comedy, and it's just weird how these things work in cycles. BC, all the way up in Canada, a brother to the north. What do you got going on lately with Wrestling with the Truth?
We just released as today's Tuesday, so we just released our latest episode. It's episode 69, which is fitting that we're on Smacked Raw.
Hell yes.
With a number like that. It took everything not to put a little emoji in there for the description, but yeah, we talk about Vince McMahon's retirement, talk about McMahon-Helmsley era 2.0, Flair's last match, and then just different stuff. We do a SummerSlam preview as well, just chatting, and we had one of our loyal listeners, Steve McCachran, come on and join us on this episode, so it was fun to have him on there as well. And then of course over on the YouTube channel, we're just trying to gain some subscribers. We're having a little fun over there, just kind of revamping things, doing some weird and wacky stuff and seeing what hits the wall and sticks, and go from there. So anybody wants to head over to Wrestling with the Truth on YouTube, feel free to give us a subscribe and some views.
Have you got a custom URL yet?
We're at 94 subscribers right
now. There we go.
So
man, I'll go. I'm already subbed. Damn it. You know what? I'll make some ghost accounts. We'll get you. We'll artificially inflate that to that custom URL. Let's get it done by the end of tonight. All right, you guys. Let's talk SummerSlam. I'm going to run down this match card. We can kind of just give overall impressions on not only the match itself, storyline leading up to it, you name it, just general overall thoughts, and then, of course, at the end, give our official predictions. Kicking off the night, according to GameSpot.com, is we have the Mysterios versus Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest, to be exact. Rhea Ripley is not technically in the match. In a no DQ match of all things. I'll kick this off, man. This is the vehicle to get Dominic to turn to the dark side, right? Something that we've been waiting for them to pull the trigger on for ages at this point. And if I recall correctly, not on the most recent episode of Raw, but I think like the last episode, Dominic, although under pressure, agreed to join them. It was just until they realized that you can't just say you're in the Judgment Day. You're going to have to prove it. So I would think that this is the match to do it, but with it being listed so early on the match card, although it might fall later in the night, I'm not sure exactly if that's what's going to happen. But I'm expecting, it's 20 years of Rey Mysterio. Him and Finn are going to tear it up in the ring. Should be a lot of fun. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, BC.
Honestly, this is probably the match in the card that I'm least excited about. I mean, the wheels have fallen off the Judgment Day ever since the whole Edge leaving, and then of course the Rhea Ripley situation. There's so much potential with that group, and I'm just not feeling it right now. And the Mysterios, give or take them. I love Rey Mysterio. Don't get me wrong; he's fantastic, and I have a feeling he's going to shine in this match. Do I see Dominic turning? Maybe, but I don't think so. It's father son. I have a hard time believing that. So I'm kind of down on this match. It's one of the few matches I am down on this card. But yeah, not feeling this one.
I'm feeling the same way. I don't think I've given up on that shit. Like I've been me and Kyle both have been one of the biggest proponents of him leaving Ray just to kind of like spread his wings and we can see if he can live up to the potential that he has. But I just don't see it fucking happening. And honestly, the Judgment Day shit, like this shit is ass. Like it was so much better with Edge, but I get what they were trying to do and also kind of slide Finn into a more prominent position. But like this, I don't know what the fuck this is. Like at least with Edge, like I kind of got it. Like I'm old. I'm trying to pass on what I have. Like I want to do less and I want to give it to these younger people. Like I got it. It made more sense with Edge. With Finn, it's just like Finn's not a good bad guy because they can't let him do what he needs to do like he did in Japan. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people love him too much. Like no one takes him serious. He doesn't get fucking booed. He kind of, I mean, the crowd's kind of flat because they're like, I want to cheer for Finn, but Rey Mysterio's out there. So it's just like, this is the match. This is literally should be a pre-show match for me.
All right, I'm not familiar with his work in Japan. What was the big difference in Finn's heel character over in Japan?
It was more like a crime boss kind of like he started Bullet Club. Like Bullet Club original was him, Bad Luck Fale, and then Machine Gun Carl Anderson, and then they kind of brought in other people. But the face paint, it wasn't just like the demon gimmick they gave him. Like he came out with something different almost every big match he had. Like Venom, Joker, pretty much any like weird comic book anime character he came out. That was kind of like his thing. But like he said, it was more like a crime boss, and they propped him up to be such a great babyface, which he is. Like I don't think he'll ever be able to be the villain or to be a good heel because it's kind of like the opposite of Seth Rollins. Like Seth Rollins is never going to be a fucking good babyface because of how much heel shit he's done over the years and how they propped him up when he was a heel. And I feel like it's kind of the same way with Finn, but only the opposite, like as a babyface.
Didn't they just kidnap Ray, by the way, on Monday? I don't know if you guys call it Raw, but that was kind of like how they ended that was like the last thing that was left with the story beat was I think they beat down everybody. I want to say they kidnapped Ray, or did they just like put him through a table? I can't remember.
They just put him through a table.
Okay.
No, that wasn't even the last part. Then after they got him back from the table, they attacked him again in the back, and Rhea Ripley like kicked his fucking shoulder off after he like they got him backstage to the party and stuff. After he put it like it was like 2 or 3 different parts, but yeah, Rhea Ripley like fucking bush faced Leah, and then they like went out to the thing, put him through the table, they got him up. And then they come back again, and like Dominic is like pushing Finn, and them like they just put your dad through a damn table and attacked your sister. Why are you pushing them? Like it should be on site. And then turn his back, and then Rhea comes and like literally kicks him in the shoulder, and he has to run back like, "Oh God, Dad, you okay?"
Rhea did kick the shit out of him too. Yeah, she did.
This shit is all ass to me. I'm sorry, it's terrible.
Can we talk about the fact that Dominic Mysterio shouldn't be joining the Judgment Day at all, and it should be Dominic Dijakovic instead?
You think Dijak?
I think it should be both of them.
I'm not sure if Dominic Mysterio. My whole takeaway from the match is I agree 99% of what you guys are saying. This should be a pre-show match. This was one of the few that I don't feel like had a whole lot of like build with any material to it. It was just, these are big names. Let's put them in a card for a big pay-per-view.
Right.
So I don't really feel like there's a whole lot going on here. I feel like Judgment Day is at that impasse already, which is sad, where they're going to have to make traction with something or they're going to dissolve. I just don't see, they don't have that solidified leader anymore. And I get that they want to be independent and everybody gets their own say, but unless there's a drastic change with that, how that is presented, I don't see Judgment Day going a lot further than where they're at right now or being able to be pushed anymore. Losing Edge lost a lot of what they had. So Then again, that leaves the three of us sitting here going, we pretty much don't give a shit about this match now.
I just want this. I don't think the story will end in the match. That's the thing. Is like I feel like the match is probably it's all right. It's okay though. I think Will, you and I do get a couple. We'll obviously be more excited being there live, but yeah, I could see where this isn't the biggest one. How are y'all feeling about Logan Paul and The Miz? I really feel like this is a divisive match. I think one of the most hilarious things was instantly it seemed like they took those piped in crowd noises and threw them out the window last night on Raw, in which case we definitely heard the crowd booing and heckling Logan the whole night, which, dude, he's so naturally a detestable person. This whole idea of him being a babyface is surreal to me.
I don't get this. This is what they always do. They try and shoehorn in a celebrity, regardless of how people look at them. They just think because they're a big name and they get a reaction that they can automatically make him a face every fucking time. And there's no way you can make this guy a face. Like he had I didn't get any of this from the start. For Miz attacking him, all of that. Like this is pretty much on the level with the Judgment Day match. Like this shit's gonna be ass because, especially if they don't pipe any crowd noise, because Logan Paul is a detestable human being. He's a heel. He always has to be heel. I don't get like. Hopefully, this is some of the stuff that Triple H clears up and like recognizes. Like you don't make a person that's a heel in real life come to be a face. But again, this goes back to what I'm always saying. Vince McMahon loves heels. He's a heel in his own story. So he thinks heels in real life are really the heroes of their story. And that's why he always brings them in to make them fucking try and make them faces when they're not faces at all. People hate these dudes. Like they literally buy those papers to watch them lose. And then you're going to bring this dude in as a face. Like it's so fucking tone deaf. Like it makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, I think it was part of the contract agreement, though. I feel I want to say I heard it was Logan Paul's request that they make him a good guy. Like
that's what I don't get.
Part of the contract.
But it's for on him too. Like he's trying to garner some sort of fucking like recovery of his reputation. Like he's not dumb. By far, if anything, he's a shitty person and trash at all things, but he's not a stupid person at all. He's a fucking whiz at making money.
Right.
He wanted to use them to make him kind of garner some fucking respect back, but it makes no sense to me.
I got you.
I really, really, really don't give a shit about Logan Paul. I feel like in a lot of cases, hopefully this won't be a long-term fixture on our television. His debut at WrestleMania gives me hope that at least he'll be able to work a functioning wrestling match, but I don't see him or take him seriously as a professional wrestler. So therefore, if he's on my TV long-term, that makes me disconnect from the product. Because it's hard for me I'm not taking away from what he is athletically or what he can do in the short term for celebrity pop. It will be hard for me to believe long-term story build about a YouTuber, because that takes away everything that all of these other guys have done to build themselves up to be larger than life for a YouTuber to be able to come in here and beat the shit out of everybody.
What's shocking is how smooth he was in that match, though. You can't deny the dude was smooth.
No. That's what I'm saying. I'm not taking away from his in-ring work. And if he comes in and he dominates it and he shows us Bad Bunny wasn't a once-over and that celebrities can come in and work, I will get behind it. I just don't think Logan Paul is a long-term fix for the WWE as far as a new superstar goes. They've got people like Solo Sikoa and Braun Breaker in NXT 2.0 that are chomping at the bit to come to the main roster that could provide quality stories. I don't see why they're wasting story time on an oversaturated roster with not very much TV time on a YouTuber who will give us, I'll call it 9.5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to give them more than 10 minutes.
But it's just Vince Shimo. Hopefully we don't get this anymore. But Vince loves the celebrities. He loves the controversial figures, putting them on TV, and it's kind of hard to gauge if they actually move the needle or not. But hopefully this will be one of Vince's last fucking hurrahs on TV.
Well, you gotta. It's in the heart of WWE for their big shows to have the crossover appeal with celebrities. You know what I mean? It just so happens this time around that celebrity is Logan Paul. But I mean, it's the foundation. You can't think of WrestleMania 1 without Cyndi Lauper. You know what I mean?
I can't tell you how bad you would have hated me the year Snooki was a fixture at WrestleMania, Kai Tai.
Why would I hate it?
You wouldn't have been able to stand it because the whole time, I mean, what was that, BC? Probably close to 10 years ago now, right?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So, I mean, think about how big of an asshole Will is in his mid-30s.
Oh, you're not a jerk. You're not an
Think
asshole.
about how big of a jerk I was in my mid-20s. Like, it would have been bad. I hated celebrity involvement, and now I've started to appreciate it. Bad Bunny really turned me around on that nonsense because when he came out and showed out WrestleMania 2 years ago, I was impressed. I didn't think anything seriously was going to come of that match, and when he came out and then did what he did and then showed in the Royal Rumble when he came back that he could actually work, sure, in short bursts. But if celebrities show me they can wrestle, then I'm like, absolutely, give them the time.
Let's go.
Don't waste long-term stories on TV where you have good, talented wrestlers chomping at the bit for that time.
No, all right, here's my. I'm
go
gonna give you
ahead.
the first hot take of the night from me here. I'm actually a fan of this whole Logan Paul situation in the WWE, except for booking him as a babyface. I number one, I don't believe this report that's coming out that he demanded to be a babyface or to be made to look that way. The guy plays a heel in real life.
Right.
He's just the most detestable human being in real life, and he thrives off that. That's what made him a millionaire or billionaire, whatever the hell he is right now. But I think if they go heel with him, he's going to be better than a Solo Sikoa or any of those guys if they do it right. If Miz somehow manages to pull off getting him cheered during this match, I think you put Miz in the Hall of Fame that evening for SummerSlam. Because that guy does not get enough credit for what he does, and just because he works safe, everybody thinks that he's a piece of garbage. But anyways, honestly,
no, Miz is my goat,
think,
man. Will hates it. Will hates it, dude. I put Miz as the goat.
I'm a Miz
I was
guy
ready to
myself,
have that conversation at some point tonight, Kyle, but it's your show. I didn't want to digress the conversation too far, but since we're still there, the Miz is the second greatest Intercontinental Champion to ever hold the title.
Yeah.
Sorry, BC.
I'm sorry,
no worries,
BC.
Man. No, that's okay. I'm just saying, like, I'm probably in the minority, but I'm enjoying the idea that they signed Logan Paul. I think just turn him heel. I would love to see Miz and Paul as a tag team taking the tag straps off somebody.
Yeah, I fuck with Logan Paul. Like I thought he did just as good as Bad Baby in the match, and he looked like he belonged in the ring. Like,
yeah,
that's the part that I didn't understand, like why they did the turn and everything, because like him and Miz were almost a match made in fucking heaven.
Yeah,
like they're perfect for each other. And like I said, he did his thing in the ring. Like, but I don't understand why they made the decision to turn him into a face. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Will grab Cornette and turn him into the new Midnight Express.
Which one? Oh, my new Cornette?
No, I'm saying turn Paul and Miz into the new Midnight Express.
Hell yeah. Oh, that would be cool. I think that FTR might have something to say about that, but
overrated.
Who is? Who's overrated?
We're not even going to start
OTR.
that tonight. Oh, we ain't going to start that tonight, man.
Overrated. Though.
Dax just dropped one of the best babyface promos in recent years, man. That was
Says you.
Ryan, I love
it. Doesn't matter what happens at AEW. You say it's every week. You say something on AEW is maybe one of the best things ever. Every fucking week since AEW has been a thing. Your mark ass has said that they've done something on Dynamite was the best thing
he
you've
called
ever
you
seen.
a mark ass.
They're on a good run, RN. They're on a good run, man.
I, however, am not an AEW stan, and I still swear by the fact that FTR is one of the greatest tag teams to do it right now.
Thank you.
Because you must be high then. You can still
that is absolutely a fact, but that has nothing to do with my taste in professional wrestling.
Marijuana affects the memory.
What?
Marijuana affects the memory.
You said what? Shit.
We'll save that
Okay.
debate. Maybe we should make a show for that.
Yeah, man.
Debate show.
You're coming on my show tomorrow. You're gonna get ambushed.
Let's see, man. Another device from one divisive set of wrestlers to another. Riddle and Seth Rollins. Where are we at with that match? Is Riddle even? I mean, Riddle's of course going to make it to the match, but last we saw him, he was getting like guillotine curb stomped on the fucking ring steps. this is like match of the night quality stuff, right? Or at least one of the matches with that potential, right?
These are two of my favorite people on the show, and Seth Rollins is probably my favorite wrestler on the roster right now. This is by far going to be one of the matches I'm most looking forward to, and I mean, I don't even care who wins. Like, I love both of them almost equally. Maybe Seth Rollins a little bit more. So, like, I don't give a shit who wins. I just want to have a 6-star banger out of this.
Yeah, completely agree. It's going to be a fantastic match. And I think Seth's going to take it on as a personal mission to elevate Riddle into that main event picture. So, yeah, I totally agree. Going to be an awesome match.
I think outside the main event and the tag team match, I think this is probably the number 2 pushing number 1 match of the night. I think that both these guys can work. I do feel like the build for this one is probably the best build of all the stories. I think that Riddles and Rollins playing off each other the last few weeks has been kind of cool. I liked the Seth coming out with Roman sticked when they were walking by each other on Raw. I thought that was kind of cool, and like waving bye to him as the crowd like sings him to the ring. Like that kind of fuck Roman moment was kind of cool. So I'm low-key hyped about this match. If Riddle wins, I don't know. I won't like it very much. I'm not a big Riddle guy.
Dude,
it's not my thing.
Is there anybody else right now in all of WWE that looks as good without a world title than Seth Rollins? Like, the man managed to be one of the pillars, part of the foundation, however you want to phrase it. He is, I think, equally as important to like WWE, especially Monday Night Raw, of course, as you would say like a world champ. And he doesn't need to touch that belt to feel like that level of importance.
He is Raw's world champ to me, and he's been the MVP since really, if you want to go all the way back to the fucking the pandemic era. Like, to me, like, he has been elevating the people around him, elevating himself, and like he looks, feels, acts, and sounds like a champ and doesn't hold a belt. So he's my MVP for the last probably 2 fucking years for Raw. Honestly, like, to me, he's on another level, and like I just don't see, like, they need to realize and stick to their guns. Like, he's a heel no matter what. You might be able to slide him into a tweener role maybe if you just have to, depending on the storyline. But like, there's no reason in fucking hell he should ever be a babyface because he doesn't get over. People complain about it. So look at what he's doing now. The crazy suits, that stupid laugh. Like, it doesn't matter what he does as a heel. People love to cheer for him and they love to hate him at the same time. Like, he's as over as he'll ever fucking be. Like, I love him. Like, right now, he's my favorite person on the entire roster right now.
Dude, that laugh makes him like the 2022 version of like the old-timey Western villain, like tweezing the fucking mustache, like tying people to fucking railroads. I feel like that, like that's the God, dude, just like the comically evil laugh. I love it, man. I love it. I just realized that we haven't been given any predictions on any of these matches. Let's do that while we're going along here. So really quick, just Mysterios in Judgment Day. Who y'all got?
Mysterious.
Yeah, Mysterious.
I'm going to say Judgment Day.
I'm going to say Judgment Day, but begrudgingly.
And then Logan Paul and The Miz. I'm going to say Logan Paul.
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul. Yeah.
The Miz just feels like a wrestler that can lose to a celebrity. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then ultimately,
it's always him.
Yeah. And then back to what we got here. Seth he did just come off like all those losses, and he, I guess you could say Riddle's going into this match injured. I think Seth's going to pull away with a win.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, by all means. This is
hop in the conversation here.
Yeah.
Do you think Seth Rollins is bigger than the world title? Do you think he's finally reached the point in his career where he doesn't necessarily need a title to be a main event superstar?
That's kind of what my point was, is that the title does like really very little for the guy. That he can't do himself without it. Like RN said, everything about him is that world title. His suits, his laugh, his character, like, yeah, he's got everything. So however you want to word it, if he's bigger than the title, he doesn't need the title. Yeah, I absolutely agree.
He's like the measuring stick right now.
Right.
Agreed.
Dude.
That's my thing. Like, I just look at him as like the standard bearer. Like, it used to be Randy Orton for a little while, but Seth right now, if you don't have a good match with Seth, or you can't match up to Seth as in ring and his mic work, then you're not ready for the main event.
You're not one of the greats at that point.
You're not one of the greats. Like, I totally look at that, and I don't think that's why I think Riddle's going to win. I'd much rather it be Seth, but I think that's why Riddle's going to win. This is going to be his make or break moment with Seth, and like I said, Seth doesn't need a fucking title. Like he's at the top of the card and at the top of everything, no matter what on Raw. So I think Riddle's going to win this.
I disagree. I think. Oh, I'm sorry, VC. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I'd argue that was the problem with Seth's title reign, is that he was so good. He's putting on so many good matches in these 30-minute matches, and you're seeing him all the time, that it was just overkill when he's got the title. But take the title away, he can have loss after loss after loss, and it doesn't matter. He's just bulletproof right now. Just look at what happened with Cody. He's fine.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like the title is like a demotion for him.
Yeah.
He doesn't wrestle no, seriously, like think about it. Like his title matches, like on Raw or anything with Raw, he was never at the top of the card. It was always like mid through pay-per-views and shit. Like I felt like literally him becoming the title holder always kind of held him back, because anytime he was the champ, besides his first couple runs, he was always a babyface, which nobody would get behind. Nobody took it serious. They always complained about it, said he was stale. So like he never was the top of the card, even though he was the champ.
He either has to win or he looks weak when he's got the title, because he loses,
Exactly.
Yeah, with that being said, though, I feel like he's coming off still of that series with Cody Rhodes, where he overall was the loser in that. I feel like, and Riddle's coming off of losses himself, but I feel like just the way the math works out, Seth's gonna just be getting the W on this one, just to get his winning ways back. Alison, I don't know if she looked up like facts or if she's just stating an observation, but she says that he has more losses than anyone else on the roster, yet everyone loves him. But yeah, I mean, that's to our point. Like I said, his character is so compelling. His win-loss record doesn't have to be spotless for him to feel important. Alison says he has 50 losses in 2022. Good God. He doesn't feel like it, does he?
It doesn't feel like he has one fucking loss.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than the Cody series, yeah. Other than that, that's the only thing where I'm like the distinct, damn, dude.
That's why I'm the odd man out here, because I think that's why Rollins is going to get the win. With him having 3 losses consecutively to Cody, then not winning Money in the Bank, I don't see them handing him 5 L's at 5 major pay-per-views back to back to back to back to back.
That's my logic, Will,
yeah,
right there.
I just don't see it happening. Not with Seth is bigger than everybody, arguably bigger than Roman in a lot of ways, but when it boils down to it, you can't hand your biggest star 5 L's and 5 biggest shows and then be like, just kidding, let's build him for the title run.
Bro, that's exactly what's going to happen once Triple H jumps in.
But also with
Triple H is his guy by far. So once he takes over creative, Seth may not fucking lose in 2023.
I still think Riddle's going to win. It just gives Seth more ammunition for this insane psycho character that he wants to do.
It's true. Dude, he's already pretty psycho, man. I mean, he can bust out that laugh like standing next to children. Doesn't even faze him. Like, he can just be that character. He's like one of those people, kind of like Charlotte, where it's hard to picture him with like a regular persona. Like, just like a regular guy out of character. Like, I feel like Charlotte has that appeal. Like, if you'd walk around her, you'd be like, I don't know. I'd be on edge. I'd be like, because of how just detestable she is as a character. I don't know. We'll move on, actually, to Bianca Belaire taking on Becky Lynch. I ain't gonna lie, man. This is one of the less matches I'm looking forward to. I mean, just Bianca looks so good. I don't have a reason to think that Becky's gonna win. And this is it's
anniversary of last year,
rematch of WrestleMania. This is one of those matches that feels like we've done it, or we're seeing it and doing it too much. With that being said, they both, we know that they can turn out a banger if need be. I don't know about you guys. This is the one where I have a less investment into my hype.
Same for me, but I would actually prefer that Bianca lose and go back on the chase. I just think she feels better on the chase than she does as the actual champ. Because I don't think, and this is something I keep saying, it kind of goes in what we're doing tomorrow, I don't think they know how to write a person of color. Like once they're in a prominent position, like I think they know how to give a person a character and tell them you need to do this. But like once, like with Bobby and any Kofi, any of them, once they get in a prominent position, I don't think they know how to find that person's voice. And like, I think Bianca's been stale as shit since she's been champ. She hasn't been like her, like boisterous, like.
Is that on Bianca or is that on just like the lack of competition that they've, because they haven't really built up much competition for her.
That too, but I'm just saying, like, just her character itself, as a black person, like it doesn't have that same sting or that same appeal that it had when she was chasing the title, if that makes sense. Like I said, I just don't think they know how to find. They don't have anybody in that writer's room that can find the voice of a person of color. They just don't. Like we've seen that numerous times. You either got to be loud and yelling, shucking and jiving, or a fucking idiot like R-Truth. Like there's no, like they finally, I think they finally caught something with Bobby, and then the first chance they got, they brought him back to Smiley because like they feel like if you're black you have to be smiling and like making sure white people aren't scared of you. Like don't fucking like, cross the street.
Don't scare the white people.
No, I'm
go up
like
and
that,
give
like,
those long high fives, the running high five to the.
Every time we get a champ. And they most certainly besides Kofi, but even though like it always goes straight back to fucking Smiley mode. Like I hate Smiley.
Is that something on black wrestlers or is that just baby faces? Remember they used to send Finn Balor out to the ring with the cheesiest fucking smile back in the days.
True, but Finn Balor already had it. They already worked him up to be that. Like
this isn't the first time we've seen this in wrestling history either, though. Look at The Rock's first run as IC champion in '97. The fans hated smiling babyface Rock.
They don't.
To the
that's
point
what I'm saying.
That, they took the belt from him, made him join the nation. He turned heel, and then he became one of the biggest stars in wrestling history.
And same thing with Bobby.
Agreed. RN 100%.
Bobby's biggest turn, biggest anything in his career was when he finally became a heel. And did some different stuff than smiling. Like even now, him coming out to the ring, he can't even get on beat with his own fucking theme song. Like
look at Bianca. Look at Bianca in NXT when she didn't need a title to go from being one of the top heels in NXT to being the Raw Women's Champion. Right. And in no time, when she got the championship, she lost that underdog mentality. Right. So I agree with RN 1,000%. This woman needs to be on the chase. She always needs to be the number one contender. She always needs to be in the title opportunity, but always chasing the title. This is one of those situations where the dog doesn't need to catch the car.
I don't know, man.
How I worked? Do you like it? I worked in that dog reference for you, RN.
There you go.
Because the kennel thing, you know.
I don't know, man. I'm enjoying her as a champ. Like, I mean, a lot more than like the other women that we've had as champ recently. I mean, because we've had like Becky and they were trying to do Carmella. I think given the three options, I think Bianca's. Dude, I don't know, man. I'm just nervous about Becky being champ again because she does feel like she's going stale, man. To me, I don't know about y'all.
I like the new Becky, the like Seth version of. I don't know what is taking him so damn long to put her and Seth together. Like they literally are the same.
You got to be the only person pulling for a reuniting of Becky and fucking Seth.
Becky and Seth heel, not that fake ass lame face version of them.
When they came back, wasn't they both adamant about not wanting to work together again?
Yeah, I know, but it's like at this point, like they would be fucking amazing together. It'd be like a supervillain couple. Like it would be ridiculous.
I think you're ridiculous, RN. I think you're ridiculous with these takes.
Absolutely. I don't shy away from it.
This is why BC's like, I'm never coming on this fucking show.
No, I love it, man. I love it.
Who's gonna?
Hey, I've been.
Oh, go ahead.
I've been saying it for forever and a day that babyface champs don't work. You need to be chasing. You need to be chasing. If I had my way, the babyface, the moment they won the title, they have to drop it immediately. It goes into a tournament for a heel because the whole point of wrestling is coming so close and missing, and coming so close and missing, and you can't have that with the babyface champ. You don't want heels pursuing, you want faces pursuing. So I think that's what the problem is with Bianca or any other babyface champ. That's what's happening. Honestly, I'd say out of all babyface champs that have been going on lately, including AEW, look at Paige and his run, I'd say Bianca's done the best of keeping it fresh and not and not feeling like they've just become flat, but it's starting to get that way. So I would be surprised if they pull the trigger on Becky and just have her take the title. But I agree too. This Becky character is getting a little bit too much at the moment too. I'd much rather the man character than what's going on right now.
Do you think the man character really was like the Ric Flair stuff, or did they just want to move on to something else? Because they quietly went from the man to big time. You know what I mean? That was kind of like what replaced the moniker.
I just think that they always overthink it. They just swore that the man character had to be a face. So that's why they went to the big time shit, when really the whole point of the man was it could be anything. It could be it could be a tweener, it could be it could be a heel, it could be a face, depending on who she's going against. And I think that, as usual, they always they get in their own way, like with almost fucking everything.
I can see that. Who we think's winning? I'm gonna say Bianca, just because I do not want to see Becky win. So I'm gonna say Bianca's taking it.
I think it should be Becky, but I think Bianca's gonna win too.
Yeah, I agree. I think it should be Becky, but I think Bianca keeps it to make up for last time.
Yeah.
I'm on that same boat. It's going to be the Bianca Belaire show with a little bit of Becky Lynch sprinkled in.
Let's see. Noob wants to know, what was the point of that no holds barred match between Becky and Asuka? Because fans on Twitter are upset about Asuka, who isn't in the main event. I mean, dude, I think that's just because Asuka has such a loyal following, and that she deserves it too. Asuka's fantastic on screen and off screen. But I don't know. Is Asuka one of those people that feels like she's above the title and doesn't need it? Because she always feels relevant. Like Asuka hasn't sniffed that title for a minute now, but I never picture her like down the card. I always feel like if Asuka's out there, it's a big deal.
Kind of fell off on Asuka, honestly.
I think if they book Asuka the way they did in NXT, she could be a face champion that could run through the roster. I don't know. And you're right. I think you're right. She just feels kind of like Seth, where she doesn't need the title.
I think they need to put her on TV more. Like, she needs some more matches, like, and not tag team matches. We need to be reminded why Asuka is who she is and that she is on Steph's level, but we never get to see it. It's always dumbass, like random single matches or random tag matches she's thrown in. Like I think that's why I kind of fell off on her, because I don't think she's the Asuka that we all came to love.
That's the problem. I don't feel like she's been booked right since her return from injury. She came back, she got a big pop, and then she just kind of fell to the wayside. And that's the issue with their booking process right now, is that you come in, you get the pop, and then they're like, oh, fuck, we don't know what to do with you now. Right. And that's the perfect example of what's happened with Asuka. And I think that's kind of the reason why Bayley hasn't came back yet either, is because she sees what's happening right now, and she doesn't want to have to deal with it, because she's pretty much got the clear to come back when she's ready now. So I think that's one of the big reasons why Bayley's not back, is because she doesn't want to come into a shit show without direction. She's going to wait for a little bit of stuff to settle in the storm, and then Bayley will come back. I'm hoping come back as the top female heel and can take the belt off of Bianca Belaire, because I think Bayley-Bianca would be a hell of a match.
Yeah. Alison says the women need better booking overall. I agree. I think you could always book the women better. Polar Knight says, as a barber, I love that this is every stage of a beard's growth. He's talking about on this stupid fucking shit. If you're watching on the video version of this, yes, all of us are varying levels of bearded men. Fuck, dude. Now I'm thrown for a loop. I forget what I was going to say. Speaking of Bayley, she's been rumored to be returning ever since, I want to say, like, the Royal Rumble.
So that's what I was saying. Like, wasn't it like before WrestleMania? She's been rumored every fucking pay-per-view.
Pretty much.
Royal Rumble was her early return point. So anything after that's been like, okay, she might come back. But I'm pretty sure I read for the last pay-per-view and a half that she's been cleared medically. It's just up to her when she makes that comeback.
Oh man, let's do it. Let's do it here, man. Will, I'd love to. You want to see Bayley return live, man? Come on now.
I'll pop.
Dude,
that will, hell yes.
That'd probably Bayley get me for the
Nashville,
yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
Let's see Bayley in Nashville. That'd be fucking dope. All right, now let's move on, dude, to the next. I don't know. Would you call this a celebrity match? Pat McAfee and Happy Corbin.
No, It's not. Pat's not a celebrity anymore.
He's earned his stripes.
Entrenched. Yeah, he's officially entrenched as part of the roster and part of WWE. I don't even. Sometimes I even kind of forget where he came from. Honestly, thinking about it, because he's just so much a part. Like, he's really the only part of SmackDown we're fucking watching. If we're being 100%, the rest of it is garbage and prominence there. So.
I think it's
as a Tennessee Titans fan, I will never forget where the fuck Pat McAfee came from.
Great.
Dude, I think for one, his talent can't be denied. He's one of the best talkers in WWE as a company. Pat McAfee can kill it on the microphone. He's fun too. Like his matches, they're not like perfectly clean sound matches. However, he does seem to know his stuff enough in the ring to put on like quality stuff. I think he has a pretty shit loss, though, to Vince McMahon with that horrible excuse of a punt that he took. But with that being said, all the fun stuff is the microphone work that he's placed going to be more entertaining than the actual match we get with a bum-ass Baron Corbin?
No, I think you're not giving him enough credit as a wrestler. Like, even though he's only wrestled 2 or 3 matches, like every single one was a fucking banger. And I don't think this is going to be any different. Like, he's a world-class athlete. Like, there's only a certain number of people that can make it to the NFL. He's world-class on the fucking mic. Like, your assessment of him as a wrestler, I think, is kind of way off. I think he's the match that he put on. Like, I don't think any of his matches are sloppy at all, especially for a person.
I didn't say sloppy. I just said it's not like the most. Not like the cleanest either. I mean, he doesn't look like it. He doesn't look like no man. He's not like a fish out of water, RN. I'm just saying, like, you know, like Dominic out there looks like buttery smooth. He looks like he was raised in the ring.
Messy. Like, you know, clean this messy room up. Like, what do you mean? Like, you may pick a better choice of words than if you're not saying.
I'm not a linguist, okay, RN. My apologies, asshole. Anyways,
I'm just saying, watch what you say. But no, I think it's going to be a great match. And no, not only that, Corbin doesn't get enough credit because people hate Corbin so much, which to me, he's the only actual real heel in wrestling because he's got atomic fucking heat no matter what he does or says or posts. And I think people hate him so much that he's never going to get his just desserts and his flowers until probably after he retires. But I think this is going to be one of the better matches on the fucking card.
Yep. I'm totally in agreement. I think it's going to be a surprising match, and Corbin does not get enough credit. That guy is fantastic. We are big on Corbin on the old Wrestling with the Truth.
All right.
I have to also jump on that bandwagon. I'm going to say something nice about Baron Corbin for the first time in a long time. I have to agree with RN. I think he's at the top of the list of a couple heels that do it right. I think Baron Corbin. I think Seth Rollins. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a whole lot of other ones after that of guys that are just killing it as heel characters. I kind of looked down on Corbin for a while, but then I realized that he's okay. Like, he's not bad. I'll give him his flowers for you, RN. Like, he's quality work, and I think McAfee can work. So I think this is going to be a good match. I don't think it'll be match of the night though because of Riddle Rollins, because of the main event, and because of the tag match. I just think there's too much good workers ahead of Pat McAfee, which isn't a slight towards Pat McAfee, but Seth Rollins, the Usos, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. Like, that's a good list to fall behind to be like the 5th best wrestler on the card in a card like that. So, I mean, that's pretty solid.
I always feel bad for Corbin that he's played his heel persona so well and he stuck to it to social media, and he just accidentally went for the throat of like a U.S. military member and ended up having to backpedal. Like, because one of the criticisms you usually give wrestlers who are like heels in wrestling is, you know, when they hop on social media and they're nothing, you know, their persona is dropped. And they pull back that curtain, which is their right to do so. But Corbin wasn't living that life, you know, and he just he gave it too hard to somebody online that he just couldn't win. You know, it was unfortunate. Oh shit! What? Oh! Next up, sorry, man, my screen was just messing up.
You gonna do the next or?
Yeah, no, sorry, it was messing up. I was like, oh god, I think it's disappearing. No, the tag match, Usos and Street Profits, with Jeff Jarrett. Why is someone explain to me why Jeff's in this match? Have we settled like anything beyond the fact that it's just because they're in Nashville?
No, that's it.
I was about to say, BC Hunter, you wanna fill this one?
Well, is it because of the Flair situation too? Maybe they're just making sure that people realize he's still WWE. You know, I don't know, but you know what? We've seen this match so much, but I feel like it's back when we used to watch the Usos and New Day and said, "Oh, we've seen this so much," and yet you know they're going to pull off one hell of a match here. It's going to be a crazy match. It's going to be good. I don't know if we're going to see the Street Profits split on this match. You might see it maybe the next week or something like that on Raw or SmackDown. But I got to give, we've talked about it ourselves. I'm giving full props to the WWE for what they've done with Dawkins instead of Ford, because everybody expected Dawkins to get the Marty Jannetty treatment, but they've been building him up like crazy the last few weeks, where we're kind of excited about the idea of Dawkins doing something different. As long as they strip away everything that he's got as far as the gear and all that, it just goes a totally different direction. But yeah, I think this is going to be, end up being a good match. The Usos will retain. But yeah, that's my opinion. It's, although I'm not looking forward to it going into it, at the end I'll be like, holy shit, that was good.
Well, my thing is like, and I told Kyle this, and he kind of like had a light bulb go off. Like, we've been giving fucking Montez all these props and shit, but if you really go back and check all their promos, all their TV spots, everything, the person that's carrying their load on the mic is not fucking Montez. It's Dawkins. Yeah. All Montez comes on and says a couple quips and then does the "we want the smoke" shit, but the actual person carrying the promos has been Dawkins for the entire time they've been a tag team. But we just see Montez's potential and like his body and like him high flying and shit, but like
his in-ring charisma is through the roof.
His in-ring charisma is through the roof, but the actual person carrying the load on the mic and in these feuds has been Dawkins for the entire time, but he just gets overshadowed. So I'm with you. Like, I feel like we might get this. Isn't going to be a Jannetty situation. I feel like they might get a viable heel out of Dawkins because, first of all, he can go in the fucking ring, and clearly he can go on the mic with anybody that they put them on. From that goes from New Day to the Usos to anybody. He's always the front man on the mic, going back and forth with him. So like, get rid of the headbands. I'm not mad at. I can fuck with the headbands, but the generic basketball outfit, like, get rid of that shit in the little bronze and put him in some real wrestling gear and let's see what he can do. Like, I think that he's got just as much a chance as Montez, because like, we don't know what Montez can do on the mic. All he does is scream and do the Ultimate Warrior shit and say, "We want the smoke." He's never really said shit in a promo. Like, go back and check the tape if you think I'm lying. He doesn't say anything of any weight in their promos. It's always Dawkins carrying the load. So like, but they're gonna lose. It's gonna be the Usos win. But I hope they don't break up, but if they do, I think Dawkins will be okay.
It's like Dawkins is Road Dogg and Ford is Billy Gunn.
Facts. That's the best fucking analogy that I could think of for them.
And both of them split off. They both go their own way, and they still end up with a decent career. But yeah, throw Dawkins in a suit and tie and make him just an asshole.
Yes. Oh my God. Perfect.
I like that idea.
I agree. I think the Usos are going to win for sure. Kyle, just a little snippet, just a little history, because, you know, Nashville's in my backyard. So there's very few times I get to throw a little bit of Nashville wrestling history into the show.
There we go.
Back in the 70s and 80s, in the territory days, Jerry Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett's dad, was kind of the gatekeeper in Nashville in a lot of ways for professional wrestling. If a territory or a promotion wanted to come into the city and ran, it had to go through Jarrett. And if Jarrett wanted to book his guys on your cards, you pretty much let him do so, because Nashville was ran by the Jarretts the same way the Lawlers ran Memphis. Or if you went down towards Houston with the Von Erichs in Dallas, like, they ran various cities throughout the territory. So if a wrestling territory wanted to run in Nashville, it had to go through Jerry Jarrett and then Jeff Jarrett eventually. So that's kind of the history there with it is because it's Nashville, but it's a little bit deeper history than just because it's Nashville.
Well,
that being said, I do think the Usos are going to win and the Street Profits need to break up because Montez and Dawkins both are super fucking stars. I just didn't want to repeat everything else you guys had said. I did want to get my JJP in about Nashville.
my whole one like thing was like I understand where Jeff Jarrett ties into SummerSlam. It's just where he ties into the tag match. It just felt like they could have.
It was just a way to time in, I think. I don't really think he had anything to do with it. I do think it's kind of a thing for them to wave him around, like BC was saying, with Flair being the next night. It's like, hey, Double J's still on our payroll. Like, he's still our guy. Like, he's also a lead TV producer now. Like, pretty much all the live TV you see is being produced by Double J. So I think this is their homage to him and his hometown. I mean, he's from Hendersonville, which is just right up the city from Nashville. So, like, it's literally in his backyard. It makes sense to give him his chance for a victory lap to come home.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking was this was probably a bigger reward than say like just like, okay, we'll give you like an in-ring segment or a like backstage segment, which, you know, can only run for like, let's say 5 minutes. Like if we can make you a special guest referee, that'll put you in front of the crowd for 20 minutes to a half hour, depending on how long they run the match. So and
it also gives us a chance for a guitar shot in Nashville.
That was my last question about it is who's eating the guitar, man?
I think it's going to be whoever takes the L for the match. I think Jarrett's going to play a vital role in helping whoever wins that match win it. And I think it'll be the guitar shot that'll to get the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, because he was teasing that on Raw. He was like, you know, everybody has to watch their P's and Q's. Otherwise, something along the lines, you guys will know where, like, I'll stick my nose or however he worded it. But yeah, he did kind of hint to that. Then he might favor one team over the other. Yeah, I just don't see the Usos losing for quite a while. I don't see it happening, man. Like it's kind of like the Roman situation. It's just like what's going to be the team to dethrone them? Who do y'all think?
Miz and Logan Paul.
If we're lucky.
Can I be honest and just throw a really like left field curveball out there?
Yeah, go ahead.
The grizzled young veterans. I don't know what the fuck's happening in 2.0, but call them up and let them go back to the gimmick they were in Britain and just the hard-hitting fucking British strong style. Let them come in and let them run through the tag team division. We saw them work Heavy Machinery. We saw them work not the Alpha Academy, but what were they before? When Chad Gable was in NXT. American Alpha?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that team. Like, we've seen them work against so many people that are currently on the main roster that we know they can put on absolute bangers of matches. And I just say give them a shot, dude. Either call them up and have them do it or bring somebody in like, you know, that's going to move the needle for your tag team division. I said earlier, Kai, in one of your Twitter posts that they need to do something with the tag team division because it's just falling behind horribly the other major promotions.
I got a wild prediction for you. Here's who unseats them. It's FTR.
There you go.
Their contract expires in 2023, right?
I mean, you know the Bucks are gonna they're gonna take all those titles off them. They're gonna just and now Triple H is their boy, right?
So.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't even think that's that hot of a take. Is FDR kind of, with the exception of wrestling in Japan. They've pretty much accomplished everything that they set out to accomplish ever since they left WWE. They are really not far from having done it all, you know, over in AEW. I believe they are one of the people that will be to jump back to WWE. We've seen jumps now one way or the other. Of course, I'm only including since AEW has been a company because you could count Cody, I guess, who's been in both promotions and come back. But yeah, I think FTR will be one of the first people to go back to WWE, and Triple H gives all the confidence in the world for that because he'll actually respect tag team wrestling and not have them try to dress up as like fucking clowns. Yeah. What's up next? Oh, shoot. Okay, so I don't know about you guys. I think this is up there with one of the biggest foregone conclusions, and that is the match Bobby Lashley versus Theory. I think this is honestly kind of like a pointless match. There's been more build with Theory and the Bloodline than there has been personally between like Theory and Bobby Lashley, if my memory's serving me correct. And I don't think they're going to want Theory to run around with both the Money in the Bank contract and the United States title. So I feel like this is, if there's any match that they might just be going through the motions, it'll probably be Lashley and Theory. And I think Bobby's going to take it.
This is a match that I feel it's just there, and it's rife for shenanigans that are going to affect the main event as well, especially with Dolph getting involved lately with Theory. I just feel like it just seems too vanilla that something's not going to happen, whether it involves the cash in, it involves Dolph taking the briefcase, or something's going to happen. I don't think Theory's going to take the title. But I don't know, maybe somehow Lashley gets involved with the briefcase. I just feel like there's going to be a ton of shenanigans leading up to the main event with this one.
How does everybody feel about Ziggler as a face?
It's Ziggler just plays Ziggler. You know what I mean?
He's just Dolph Ziggler all the time.
Yeah.
I've said before that I've thought Ziggler was the most mid WWE champion of all time. You know what I mean? Like, I sometimes forget even that he ever had a title run, and then I'm like, oh yeah, he was a world champion, fucking Mr. Money in the Bank.
One of the biggest cash-in pops in WWE history. I saw a recent take on Ziggler, which I actually thought was pretty unique, and there's some grounds for it. Is they said like he essentially has all the potential to do what Chris Jericho did, but he just doesn't have the ability to reinvent himself. Like, if he had the ability to reinvent himself, Ziggler would have been able to keep himself relevant in the main title scene, just like Jericho has. But he just doesn't have that ability to reinvent that character. He is kind of he just plays Dolph Ziggler. You know what I mean? There's just some people who only know how to play themselves.
And even with that, like, that should be rewarded. That he's, like you said, like, he's never had to change himself. But look, here we are. How many years in?
Yeah.
Like,
hey, I mean, he's up there, ain't he? He's getting close to. I mean, he's got to be 15 years at least.
Yeah, that's
he's
what I'm saying.
He's got to be close to that.
At least 12, 2010ish or whatever. Like, that's my thing. Like, he's changed
Spirit
the gear
Squad was
up.
2006, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, with the Spirit Club and shit and everything. I guess. Now, I love Dolph. Like, I always have. Like.
The fucking Spirit Squad.
Right. Like, I fuck with him. Like,
Nikki!
I love everything about him.
The fucking Spirit Squad.
God, I remember that too. His WWE debut, or this might be his professional debut. Never mind. I think that's his professional debut was 2004.
Nah.
Yeah, Spirit Squad was 2006.
Okay. Damn, man.
That's 16 years in WWE.
Yeah. Doesn't feel like he's like one of those other people that doesn't seem to really age. Like, I think he looks pretty much not too far off from the young Ziggler. Other than like Spirit Squad, whenever he had like the short hair. I think is that the only time he's ever had like really like short hair in WWE?
He cut it that one time that he went with Vicky as his manager, and he came out with it brown and short, and then like a month later it was back to blonde and growing it out again.
Oh shit, I never saw that.
That's because it lasted all of a month, basically, because everybody's like, what the hell? You've lost the one thing that makes you Dolph Ziggler.
Right.
It was as brief as like when Cody came out for that barbed wire, or no, the dog collar match with black hair. We're like, oh, we're getting dark hair Cody, and then it was blonde a week later. Yeah. Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey. I think if Bayley is going to return, I think this is actually the match that she would return in. I don't know. That's just kind of like my gut feeling. I want to say, here's the thing. I want to say the belt stays on Liv. For the life of me, I just don't see why they would have her cash in on Ronda and just lose it like a month later in the official rematch. But I just cannot see Liv beating Ronda straight up without shenanigans. I just don't see how they booked that match. and I hate to say it, but it's kind of like booking a match where, Kofi Kingston would beat Brock Lesnar in a straight up match. I'm not saying that there isn't a match out there. You couldn't book that, but that would just be a really fucking difficult way to do it. So I'm just wondering how they keep the belt on her. Like, I feel like there's going to be some level of shenanigans in this one, to steal your phrase, BC. And I think that's where Bayley comes into play, is my official prediction.
Yeah, agreed. I think Bayley comes in. She is the reason why Rousey gets disqualified. That gives us Bayley, Ronda building to Clash at the Castle, which will give us Bayley, Morgan at Clash of the Castle for the title there. So you see what I mean? Like, it'll be Bayley, Rousey will be that first rivalry where they'll kind of go back and forth for that number one contender spot. But I think Bayley will come back in this match, and that'll be how Morgan will win with that, without Rousey losing. Like, it'll be a protected finish that way. That way Rousey won't look weak.
I'm on the probably the only person on the internet that's not a fan of Liv Morgan being champion. So I'll say right there, I'm a little bit biased in my opinion, but I do think she holds on to it. I think there could be shenanigans. I'm not necessarily sure if it's going to be Bayley. It could be Charlotte that's coming out with the shenanigans, and then you have a Ronda Charlotte situation. Or, and we mused about this, does Sasha get signed all of a sudden now that Vince McMahon is gone, and you got Triple H back at the helm?
You're not the only person on the internet that's not a fan of Liv. Like, I think,
Okay, all right.
I think it was a terrible decision. Like, the crying and shit. Like, I don't.
The crying just gets me,
Yeah.
I think that, and I also think that they missed their opportunity with her months ago to do it. And I don't think she was anywhere near as hot as she was maybe like 5-6 months ago when she was having that shit with Becky. Is when I thought they should have pulled the trigger on it. But again, like what Kyle said, like, she just did all that, powered through Ronda Rousey and shit and everything, cashed in. Like, I don't see them. Something's gonna happen, because I don't think they're gonna book Ronda weak and let her fucking lose clean to Liv, who's clearly inferior. So something's gonna happen, but I don't think Liv is losing it.
They had to give Liv the title at some point, though. It felt like, I mean, granted, like, I'm not saying the timing was perfect or even how they did it was perfect. It was just like, it felt like they ran out of time, and they knew that. Like, look, we have to get this belt on Morgan at some point. We can't stop prolonging it. We don't know how to do it perfectly. Let's just do the 24-hour cash-in story that we always do with the women at Money in the Bank, where they cash in either the night of or within the first 24 hours. And let's just get that belt on her and say screw it. But yeah, I completely agree with you guys. Like, it could have been done better, but I felt like they ran out of time, but knew they had to put the belt on her at some point. Well, who knows? Maybe I'm alone in that thought, but it feels like that's kind of like what they've been trying to do, is just feel out whenever they could put that thing on her. Charlotte, though. Yeah, my wife would lose her mind if she got to see Charlotte. She fucking loves Charlotte Flair.
That's dope.
Yeah, she does. She does. Which, it's suiting, because Charlotte's an asshole. So.
You have just been slamming your old ladies. Somebody is definitely sleeping out under the carport. You're in the.
I'm not even on the couch, bro. I'm out in the carport, huh?
Yeah, bro. You are not trying to sleep at home.
At least the weather's nice here in NC.
Right?
Yeah, at least the weather's all right. It's nice and cool out with all this rain. Fuck. Yeah, Jessica's gonna see this one too. I didn't realize this, but that story I told on the rewind, and apparently in that like 6 or 7 minute clip, I like dropped like 25 F-bombs. And
yes,
I didn't.
And you said bitch like 4 times.
I called her bitch twice.
He's about to get beat.
I called her twice. Well, dude, that is equal ground. I can say this with all certainty. Me and Jess call each other bitch all the time. That is part of our language. Like,
I only say it like, we got this one thing where like if we're fucked up from the night before and we're like hungover, our thing is like, bitch, I'm not well. So like that's the only time I ever call my girl. I don't say it, but yeah, I get what you. We got that. It's like a safe word type thing.
Yeah. No, me and Jess, we signed off on that with each other ages ago. That was never with malicious intent. But I do forget that like not everybody knows that. And I posted that shit on Facebook, man. And my aunt like mocked me because she like commented with a bunch of F words, and my aunt's like a really sweet lady. And I was like, yeah, my bad. I'm sorry about that. I feel embarrassed. Main event, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, last man standing match. The match that everyone's been groaning about, but I'm sure like it's always proved time and time again. Like once the bell rings, usually people settle in and enjoy the match. I want to say Roman's like a clear favorite, but I can never count Brock out. Like I don't know. I really don't know where to begin with this one. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I just don't see him taking the belt off Roman, not for a part. And this is going to sound weird, not for a part-timer, but I don't think they're going to go from a part-timer to another part-timer and devalue Roman's reign. I just don't see that being the case. So I think Roman's going to have a hard-fought victory. He'll win, and I don't think it'll be a clean win and a last man standing match or whatever it is, the I Quit match, the beat the shit out of each other in Nashville match, like whatever the case is. I don't think it'll be Roman winning clean. I think there'll be some shenanigans in play here, but I don't see them taking the belt off Roman yet.
Right. Go ahead, BC.
Yeah, Roman wins. It'll end up being an absolutely crazy good match because they just end up having that. We just hate that they do. And I don't see a successful cash in either.
No
way.
Yeah, no. Like,
yeah.
Do you guys agree? Because it seems to be like it's almost like everybody is booking it that it's Cody. Like that seems to be like the universal. I'm noticing more and more that everyone just strongly believes Cody's the man to do it. We're just waiting on him to heal up and for it to occur at like one of the big pay-per-views, like Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, or even possibly next year's Mania.
I want Cody to come back and win the Royal Rumble, and that be the start, like the build. I think that's the perfect situation. If he comes back before Rumble, awesome. I don't want it to be before Mania because I want Cody to come in and win the Rumble from one. I want it to be the most cheesy fucking Attitude Era story WWE and Triple H and Steph could write. But tell me how fucking big the pop would be.
Yeah.
And then I want Theory to cash in and take the title off him immediately
There it
after
is.
he wins.
After a year of working.
Yeah.
Bingo.
I'm fine with all that. I called all of that, honestly. Like I didn't think Theory was going to win the Money in the Bank, but my thing from the time Cody signed and even after he got injured, he's coming back at Royal Rumble, and that's going to be the person to finally, maybe not both the titles, which I wouldn't even be mad if it wasn't both the titles, for just the Raw title. But I've been calling Cody versus Roman. Fuck, I don't want to see The Rock. I'm sorry. He hasn't wrestled in years. The man can barely lift his arms up over his head. There's like no reason to bring The Rock back to do anything with Roman, like unless it's like some passing of the torch type shit or something. Like I don't want to see that Roman Reigns Rock match in any way, shape, or form. I'd much rather it be Cody versus Roman, and that pop that Cody would get is going to be fucking deafening. Like, and then him winning, it better be a roofless arena for fucking WrestleMania because there's not going to be a roof left if when he wins that title for Roman.
Well, Cody winning Money in the Bank seemed just like too easy a route to the title for him. He needs to have the whole thing that Will just described. He needs that.
Yeah.
And it needs to be taken away from him.
Yeah. It's almost like that injury is going to help play into his story even better. You know, I could picture like Cody already, him and Triple H working together on getting that big babyface pop like Triple H did returning from the torn quad. Like already working, you know, getting the promo packages, seeing the rehab, recapping his match with Seth Rollins. I do have like one alternate idea for you guys. Granted, I'm not saying that you guys are wrong with Cody and Roman at WrestleMania, but what if like Cody, say he heals up in time and he can win the belt, let's say Royal Rumble. Do you think it would also be a good idea to have Cody go into WrestleMania as champ against a different opponent, and that way we can still get Roman in The Rock? Roman's story is that he's done it all. He held the title for a historic reign. You know, the title feels below him at that point. There's nobody left for him to beat, and that's where The Rock comes in. And that's true. The true match for head of the table where the belt's not on the line and Cody's off defending that, let's say, against the next big contender, whoever it might be for Mania.
Yeah, you could do Cody Seth at Mania.
Again, right?
Yeah, and then you do Rock and Roman for no title.
What about bringing Wyatt back and having Cody Wyatt at WrestleMania next year for the title?
Yeah, man. They could see that too.
They're the only company that can afford his expensive
Stop all
ass.
of this. Throw all this shit out the window. It's Cody versus Roman. That's what it has to be.
Our end just
has to
doesn't
be
want
the-
to see any old
It has
timers.
to be the prodigal son coming back, returning to the company, and taking the title that he never won when he was here the first time. Like, that's what it has to be. Like, I mean, I'm not opposed to Rock versus Roman, but like on SummerSlam or something like that. Not WrestleMania, not Rock coming in after fucking 10 years and taking the titles off Roman. No, it has to be Cody winning that Rumble and going to WrestleMania. Now, I don't care about other ways we can get there with maybe setting up another number one contender for the other title at Elimination Chamber or something like that, because clearly that'll let us know that all the titles will be on the line. But it has to be Cody versus Roman. It just, like, I don't see anything else that would be that big, and that includes Rock versus Roman.
I want Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, just so I can watch RN's head explode.
No, that wouldn't make no. See, that's where everybody gets it wrong. That would make my head explode. I'd be all fucking for it. I've seen these old men slap each other and shit. I don't want old dudes coming back and taking titles off new stars and people we have going now, and then hear Vince and all the other executives say no one stepped up and took the brass ring. Well, no, you never gave anyone a chance, because every big moment you go get some old fuck from when we were 15 years old to come back and take that spot, including Stone Cold's no knee fucking aluminum can knees, bringing him back and everything.
Hey,
That's-
I was on
that's
board.
my
Leave
thing.
Stone Cold out of this. I was on board until you brought
I
Stone
was
Cold
on board
up.
with Stone Cold stunning everybody, but he did not need that shit with Kevin Owens did not need to happen. I'm even okay with him doing Theory, because that was Theory's kind of thing, like Brock and him, and that was him getting his just due to be put in line to be the next up. You got to get those ass whoopings from the old timers and shit from like the Monday, what is the Raw Rewind or whatever the hell it is when they bring back all the old dudes and one dude gets his ass kicked by all of them. Like, it's like a
Like
rite
when they
of
did that
passage.
with like Ascension. That was not a rite of passage. That was just like straight up burial. They never came back from that shit.
Well, not just them, but I mean, like all the top guys, like even Kofi and them got stunned. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's a rite of passage. I get, but that's different. But still, same thing. Like, no, two old. If we have an old timer match, I'm cool with that. Two old motherfuckers trying to relive their glory days, but not them coming in and like beating Finn Balor and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's why I like the idea of it with just non-title. That's why I always like the idea of Brock Lesnar. If Brock Lesnar had stuck around, just, you know, when his like reign of terror was going on, where he was never around and he was holding onto that belt, was just like, dude, I just feel like it'd be cool as long as there's just no belt on the line. You just make the stakes something else.
Well, they just do Rock Hogan all over again. Except
Jesus.
Rock is playing Hogan, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I hate these old folks.
Yeah, Roman's. You guys convinced me. Roman's clearly winning this. There's just no reason to take that belt off him right now. We gonna get Cowboy Brock after SummerSlam, or is he riding off and just living like a cowboy till the next ass whooping Roman needs, with no opponents left?
I kind of want to see a Cowboy Brock like Intercontinental or like U.S. title run.
I
Where
just
we
want to
get
see.
all the-
Oh, go. I'm sorry, Ben.
No, so I would like to see him with some other people besides Roman and like the top guys. Like, I would like to see another him versus AJ, him versus Finn, like just some random people we've never seen before, kind of like they did with Cena. Like, he's on Cena's level. Why can't he just do a fucking like U.S. title invitation and we get a bunch of bomb ass fucking matches we never thought we'd see with Brock? And now that we're seeing that other side of Brock too, like the more like kind of open to doing different things and the comedy version, like that would be some of the best shit we could get on TV. Just like some open challenges with Brock Lesnar, and then like seeing him like a match versus him versus Ricochet. Like, we know he's gonna fucking kill Ricochet, but just seeing Ricochet reliving that, him jumping around and shit, Brock catching him, like I'd love to see like that version of Brock.
Yeah,
What
just
about
showcase
Brock?
matches, right?
What'd you say?
Showcase matches.
No, just like let him win like the U.S. or Intercontinental title, and him come out, pull the Cena thing. Like, who wants a shot at the chip?
You know what we need is we need Brock to bring back some kind of version of the APA, like hanging out backstage, getting drunk, beating the shit out of people, winning a couple matches, and just kind of being there to be Brock, but not really affecting anything. Just let him be present and be just like angry, happy cowboy Brock. You
I
know,
was just gonna say, have Brock and R-Truth as a tag team.
hell yeah.
Oh fuck it, I'd be down with that. And
The two-time
I hate that
NWA
shit.
World Heavyweight Champion, R-Truth.
I wouldn't mind Brock coming back and doing his own stable. Like get Shelton, the Minnesota Stretchers Crew, get a bunch of like young guys, like not necessarily young guys, but like some guys in that vein, like Shelton, Gable, like get together like a shooter type club. You know what I'm saying? And like them just like just run the fuck over everybody. Like let it be not necessarily title picture shit, but like upper mid card, like I said, around him with the Intercontinental title or shit or some shit. Like I wouldn't mind seeing Brock with a stable, something we've never seen.
Will, your idea kind of reminds me of like a blended version of like what my stupid pitch for Brock was, and just have him accidentally win the 24/7 title, but his pride won't let him relinquish the belt either. So he just begrudgingly carries it around him, and we just see Brock in everyday situations swatting off like the undercard, just gradually growing annoyed. Like you said, him sitting around drinking beers, him trying to hunt, shit like that, and just like the 24/7 title's a curse, but not a curse he's willing to just like relinquish. Which I know it'd probably end up being stupid, but I think you can get like 2 to 3 weeks of good comedy out of that shit. But yeah,
I think 2022 Brock Lesnar would be cool with it. I think 2002 Brock Lesnar would have fucking laughed at you.
I don't know. I think 2022 Brock probably would laugh at that idea too.
I don't think so, man. I think the Brock that's doing it right now is having fun. He's reached a point in his life where he doesn't need a paycheck anymore. He's made his money. He's got a gorgeous wife and a big ranch. Like, hell yeah, have some fun and just enjoy your life.
All I want is Riddle versus Brock. That's all I give a fuck
I
about.
know. Riddle and Goldberg too. That's the only Goldberg match I'd want to see, assuming all parties could work cool. Is Riddle and Goldberg out there as well.
Fuck Goldberg.
Yeah, I know. Fuck Goldberg.
Fuck Riddle.
Dude, I was literally like, I jumped on those whenever they the whole drama. They said Brock had walked out and Goldberg was being trying to shoo him in or whatever, like all those rumors. I was like, dude, I will sell these SummerSlam tickets in a heartbeat if that's the main event I have to look forward to. But yeah. Anyways, that was a fun show. Thank you guys doing this little SummerSlam 2022 preview. Before we go, one more time, Will, BC, and RN, let everybody know where they can find you, social medias, your shows, all that stuff.
Go ahead, BC.
So social media is at WWTT Pod on Twitter and on Instagram, and then Wrestling with the Truth on Facebook and YouTube.
Oh, that's it? Okay. Normally everybody has like 4,000 things. Sorry. I guess I'll go. I got Mean Jellybean Memes on Facebook, Mean Jellybean Productions on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter, Mr.8984. Follow me on IG if you want, ARA8984. And don't forget to follow that's all. Oh, Route 4 Kennels.
You got an album dropping, right, RN?
Yeah, we got an album dropping too, August 22nd, Children of the Corn. We got some videos jumping too that we just did. Adam was just in a Demolition Derby. We got some pretty dope footage from that. We had the MJB car in the Derby. It was fucking dope. So we'll definitely have some stuff popping this summer.
Follow Just a Girl 918 on Twitter.
Is it, Will?
And Botch Pots and Chair Shots.
That's awesome, man. Thank you guys again. Everybody, until next time, y'all have a good one. Bye.
It's Bret the Hitman Hart, the best there is, best there was, and the best there ever will be. And you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.